So yesterday we talked about Norganon a little bit in the Discord and came to the discussion about Norganon potentially being the god of fate. In that, like, yes, Aman'Thul is time and Norganon is space, and that they're inexorably linked to one another. But that that time and fate are essentially two forces that are essentially, well, I said that twice, attempting to align for, well, what do I call it? I guess it's destiny. There's a lot of terms in this game that refer to things being like written in the stars or as the stars foretold. And we've played more and more with the idea that perhaps the discs of Norganon are not necessarily just a history of the past, but maybe a blueprint for the future. And that could be part of why Tyr has been able to resurrect himself, essentially. Because he may have actually read into the discs and seen what the plan was. How do I put this? I think time and fate, Aman'Thul and Norganon, I think that they, the Arcane Masters, as they're identified in the Argus fight, I think that they have a plan that they're following. So we'll talk more about that, but I'm pretty sure that what we know as like timelines and shit and like how time just flows might not necessarily be that straightforward, like in that it may be literally like designed and guided by creatures far beyond our understanding. Thank you. Is every old god dead at this moment in the story? How am I supposed to answer that? That's kind of hard to answer, especially considering that we have entities that seem like they could be aligned to the old gods, but we don't really truly understand their nature. It's kind of an impossible question to answer. Now, the devs have said that we killed the old gods and that they're dead. But I think that what you're attempting to identify is actually not irrelevant, but not relevant in the way that you probably think it is. The old gods being dead doesn't mean shit. Are they ever really dead? I mean, the stuff in the Shadowlands is like still alive, basically. Side note, the old gods equate death and sleep to one another. Why are old gods never seen to communicate with one another? That's not true. There's evidence of them. You know, Yogg-Saron's the one that let N'Zoth into the nightmare. You know that, right? Like, Yogg-Saron's the one that broke in and gave access to N'Zoth. It said that they dislike each other as well. Where's it said that the old gods dislike each other? Why? Because they had armies that fought each other, they disliked each other? Is that the assumption to make there? I don't think it's an unfair assumption to make. I just think that it's something that the Titans kind of want you to believe. I always thought it was like a competition. I think Zal makes it kind of sound like that, but I don't know that that's completely accurate, you guys. There was once a time where the Black Empire itself ruled the world. Like, and I'm not necessarily one to subscribe to the idea that they were all separate and all in different domains and didn't have it. Like, I don't really believe that. I think that most of what you think you know about the Black Empire is not true. So. In fact, most of the Black Empire is probably just underneath our feet right now. Considering the fucking Titan showed up and just buried the old god shit, I mean... Also, if you read stuff from the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath from H.P. Lovecraft, it'll give you some hints about what's going to be underground, if you're curious. It's not that hard to find. You can use Wikipedia. You don't have to buy books. You don't have to find some scholar in H.P. Lovecraftian lore. You can literally just go on Wikipedia and read about some of the entities. I mean, if you guys don't know, in Lovecraft's mythos, there's literally a group of gods that shows up and, like, imprisons the old ones. And then, like, takes over. So, you know, some similarities, you might say. Azathoth, dreams the universe. While Azathoth is sleeping, the universe exists. And when Azathoth wakes up, it doesn't. But here's my thing. If Azeroth wakes up, I think it just spells the end of reality as we know it. So let's keep Azeroth sleeping. Let's not. Let's not. Azeroth is part of a great cycle. And there ain't no cycle happening right now, I'm gonna tell you what. Azeroth is an interesting one, by the way. He can be a little difficult to attribute to Lovecraftian entities. He's unique. There's like, let me put it this way. Yogg-Saron is very easy to relate to Yogg-Sothoth, right? Yashiraj is very easy to relate to, like, Shub-Niggurath. I think that's who that was. Goat of 1,000 Young. You know, Cthulhu, you know? There's actually, it's interesting, though, because even though Cthulhu has a name more inspired by Cthulhu than N'Zoth, N'Zoth is way more like Cthulhu than Cthulhu. So I don't know. Kind of weird. There's a lot of, like, inspiration in this game is a very intricate web. It's not a very simple thing. Like, you can't just look up one entity from, like, a mythos and be like, oh, this is what Sargeras is based on. You can't really do that, because if you look at Ares, you look at Sigmar, you look at Cert, if you look at I could go, it's like a collage, right? It's not just one thing. As it should be. Direct pulls are weak in fantasy. Yes, they are. Which is why simply looking at Azathoth and going, oh, if Azeroth wakes up, the universe ends, so we don't want to wake her up. It's like, no, it's not that that clear. Like, yes, Azeroth, but maybe the inspiration that you should be looking at is more that he is like the creator of the universe. Maybe that's the connection. Not that, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity for different things, so I'm not saying it is one way or the other, but, you know, it's good to look at both options.